Hello, today I'm gonna show you how you can fix your power adapter jack. You know, very often uh, when people use the adapter, they're bending the cable, which cause it to, you know, break down someplace in here. And if you move it a little bit, or it gets shorter between the plus and the minus, or it doesn't have any voltage at the output. So right now I'm going to show you how you can fix this with a little bit of hot glue and a hot iron. The first thing we gotta do is we gotta cut the cable, you know, like this. We're gonna strip the plus and the minus, and we'll get to them later, like this. You have to be careful they don't touch each other, like this. Now the next thing we gotta do, we're gonna use the same jack. We gotta remove everything else on it. We'll get a cutter and we're gonna start removing everything from it. We're gonna resolder the wires and hopefully we'll fix everything back again, like this. See, in here the ground was a little bit, you know, not very strong. So right now I'm gonna use a little tool in here. First thing we gotta do is we gotta remove the old cables. I'm gonna use a little of this to make it more easy to be removed, like this. That's the ground, and we're gonna do the same with the plus. Just get something and remove everything, like this. You can clear the hole if you like. Now the next thing we gotta do is we gotta prepare the cable for resoldering. We're gonna put a little flux on it, like this. Now just melt the old flux and put the cable in between. Then you can bend it and you can cut the things. Now we have to solder everything back, like this. Sorry if it's not on focus. Keep it straight, like this. After that we're gonna use a little shrink tube on the ground so we are sure it won't make any bridges. I'm gonna put this in here, like this, and we're gonna shrink it with the hot iron. Now we're gonna put a little more, like this. Then we can use a tool because it will get very hot. You just resolder everything back, like this. Make sure everything is soldered good, like this. Not very good looking at the moment. I'm gonna show you. Just make sure the cable is straight, so on the next step you won't have much of a problems. Just make sure that the ground and the plus are separate, like this. Now the next thing we gotta do, I'm gonna use a hot air. Most of the people do it with a hot glue gun, but I prefer the soldering station because it melts on a higher temperature, and the glue sticks much better. So the next thing we gotta do now is we gotta fill this whole thing in here with a hot glue. After that we're gonna use one or two layers of hot shrink tube, so we can make it look more nice. First we gotta melt down this. Probably it's not very professional done, but I've done a lot of these and the final result is pretty decent. The other way is just to cut the adapter and change the whole cable, but most of the adapters are glued together. They don't have any bolts, so when you close it back it won't have very good, you know it won't be very good looking, let's say it this way. So we are putting right now, we gotta make sure it's even. Like this. You can put more in the back, so much of the cable is going to be covered with the hot glue. Just be careful not to put too much, because or your shrinking tube won't fit, or it will become very big and it won't be a very good looking. Like this. Don't worry about the shape, because I'm gonna show you how this will all went. I'm gonna put a little more in here, like this. You can use the hands just to make them to give it some sort of shape, just for the beginning, like this. Now the next step, like this. It's something like that for now. See, we'll wait a few seconds just to cool down a little bit so we can put the shrinking tube inside. Now the next step is we gotta cut two pieces on some same light. It's not a problem if it's too long, because after that you can cut it. Now the next step is we're putting the shrink tube inside, like this. Make sure it's spreads even. Then we are taking the hot glue gun, the hot air, and start sealing it from both ends first, like this. Don't put too much of the hot air, because it will make everything goes outside, from these sides. Now we're gonna put the second layer, like this. We're gonna use the hot gun again, both sides, like this. When you're applying the heat, you know the hot glue is get melt evenly, and this starts to have more round shape, like this. You can see how the hot glue is going out. Let me see that on focus. This means that everything is here is smelled very good. You can remove this with your hand. Now after that, when it cools down a little bit, you can put the third layer if you like. I'm gonna put the third one too, so it's more strong. Like this. Now we're gonna leave it to cool down. If it's when it's still hot, you can make some more adjustments, you know, to make it more straight if you like. You know, it won't be like the factory one, but believe me, when the hot glue is hardened, when it dries out, it becomes very strong. Now the next thing we gotta do is to give him a final look. You can use a cutter. You just remove all the unnecessary material. Make sure you're cutting it evenly, like this. Just remove it, like this. And basically, that's the whole thing. See? Let me see, is the camera on focus? No, like this probably, yeah. It's spread evenly, and we are still having the same adapter. This is quite strong when it dries out, and it will last longer, believe me. If you like to make it more straight, you can put a little piece of shrinking tube on the back, so the cable won't bend that much, you know. But basically right now in this power jack, all this part in here is a cable, so it won't bend very easily. That's the final look. You know, everything comes with the experience. So basically that's it. Hope you like the video. Like it and subscribe if you like it. Bye bye for now.